Hi everyone, welcome back to River and Rune. My name is Gabriel and I am happy to be back to do some runes with you guys. So last week I had done a reading for everyone, for the global collective, and it was really powerful because it brought up a lot of emotions. It brought up a lot of energies that were tied to the time period that we're in still, which is the Mercury in retrograde. And this one has been particularly trying, I feel, for myself and for a lot of people that I have spoken to, in a good way, because the energy that has been provided for us, especially from the energies of the planets, is a lot about going within, understanding ourselves so that we can make the foundations for later in life. And there's a beautiful, beautiful rainstorm happening outside. So if you guys hear some of the rain, that's what's going on here in New York City. So I'll be doing the runes for you guys today and we'll see what they have to say. Now we're still in the month of Rowan, so we're still in the month of water, the month of Neptune, this very beautiful oceanic month that oftentimes brings us to a space of our dreams, our desires, our wants, the things that we want to create in life, and also the parts of ourselves that maybe we're not too familiar with. And that's always fun to discover, right? Okay, so this is really interesting. So for this week coming up, the feeling that I'm getting, especially if we're starting from the middle again, for those of you who are just joining the channel or just stopping in to say hello and see how things go, this is a rune casting that I do where I start in the middle and I dance around the wheel of time, moving outward as time progresses. It's like a ripple in a pond, so to speak. So starting in the middle and then rippling outwards. Now, the energy that I'm feeling is very interesting because I very much felt this homeward energy, this feeling as I was casting the stones and I was shaking them. I oftentimes get visions, or I have very powerful visualizations of what I'm feeling or what is going on around me or whatever the stones are trying to convey to me. And I felt this very homebound energy. It felt like going home. And whatever that may mean from a psychological or archetypical perspective is very much dependent on you. And what I mean by that, from the psychological perspective, going home oftentimes can represent coming back to our childhood selves and healing those traumas there. It can represent finding a romantic partner or a partnership within oneself that marriages the two sides of you, in the sense of the masculine and the feminine, the light and the dark, however you want to think about it, but we all carry that spectral existence within us. We carry the extremities and the medium. So that kind of connection oftentimes can be developed through friendships, through partnerships, through family relationships, and most importantly through our connection to ourselves. So it could mean that. It could also mean coming home in the sense of returning to your spiritual, creative, or artistic practice, all of which are, in my opinion, very intermingled. And so, starting in the middle, we have these two that came up together. So we have Ewas and we have Ewas. One is with an H and one is without the H. So this is the one with the H and this is the one with the EI, Ewas. So essentially, just to give you a brief rundown, this rune in reverse, oftentimes I don't like to see it in reverse in Merkstav, but the combination of the two make a very different and very unique feeling. So it's time for us to be vulnerable. We have Awas here, which is very beautiful, and it's a lot about strength and endurance and persistence and consistency. Also can represent someone that can be relied upon, which oftentimes is ourselves, or perhaps the people around us that we rely on. And then we have Awas here in reverse in Merkstav, which oftentimes represents a stagnation or something being halted. Now, appearing together, it feels to me, and this is a beautiful message, that it's time to let down your walls. It's time to prevent that feeling of control, that feeling of, well, I don't need to share myself creatively, I don't need to share myself spiritually, or perhaps it's, I'm better off if I don't share myself with my friends or with a romantic partner for fear of being vulnerable or for fear of, and sometimes, funnily enough, not even because of fear. Oftentimes it's because we desire to control our situations, to feel that feeling of control, that semblance of balance that we can have in our life, that oftentimes isn't balanced at all. It's that feeling that we get when we're content, when we're no longer growing, we're no longer being challenged. But that contentment is easy to understand because we've known it. And so this combination together is saying it's time to be vulnerable, to be weak to our own heart, to let that space be open. And then the harvest comes. We have Yera later on. Now, considering that this is a weekly rune reading, the energies that I'm feeling here is starting from Wednesday up until Saturday. This feeling of vulnerability, this feeling of really tapping into that space of saying, I can share myself and that's okay. Watch how much you're going to reap. Watch the rewards that you will bring to yourself as you open yourself up to that vulnerability. And also be very, very, very aware that that season, that this opening is going to start a new season of life for you, a new cycle, which is very beautiful because later on the energy that we have here is Sowilo, which is vibrancy, vitality, openness, joy, possibility. It's the sun card for those of you who do tarot. And later on we have Lagus upright, creative flow, movement forward, allowing for that creativity, that subconscious understanding, the intuition, the deeper knowing of ourselves to finally flow. For those of you who do yoga and who understand the Vedic traditions, as well as the traditions on that side of the world, this is connected to the chakra, the second chakra. So this is connected to the Svadhisthana, that energy of movement, of creation, of flow, of sexuality, of happiness. And the fact that it came out later in the reading, so this energy is going to be available for us later in the week, I would say closer towards Sunday going onward to next Wednesday. But this honestly feels very deeply moving, as if something has just shifted. And what we need to be aware of, that shift is an inner shift. Oftentimes, we look so hard for that shift to be around us in the physical world to give us a sense of stability, a sense of grounding, a sense of control. But what really needs to happen is to lose control, to let that heart space open so that you can prosper, so that that flow can happen. And then the world will change around you, and the things that you've been waiting for to manifest in your three-dimensional reality will start to manifest, because now the universe sees, they're open. I can give them a gift if their hands are empty. And that is a beautiful message. So I'm very excited for all of us this week. And honestly, this feels very much for the month of March and onward. And the energy that we can carry forward into March and plant the seeds for that to grow later in April and onward. So that's a very beautiful reading. So thank you guys for joining this week. I'm very glad to have been able to read the runes for you, to read these energies, and to share my practice with you. Of course, I'm very glad that all of you have decided to show up, to be present. Thank you for those of you who are consistent fans of mine, who stop by on the channel often. I'm very grateful for you, and I'm very thankful that you're here. And all of you guys who are newcomers, welcome, and thank you for being here as well. Like I had said last week, I'm very excited to expand the channel. I'm going to do some more readings. I'm going to do a Rune 101 to explain how I read the runes and what they mean to me, and I'll make a small series about that, so look out for that. I'm very excited for it, and I hope you guys enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you back here on River and Rune. Don't forget to subscribe and comment below. Hit that like button if you like this video, and I'll see you guys soon, okay? Enjoy the rest of your week, everyone. Bye!